We're going to be talking about intra-African investment, scaling up cross-border collaboration in fintech and infrastructure. Mr. Michael Ogbalu, CEO, Pan-African Payments and Settlement System, PAPSS, would be ably represented by Mrs. Monica Oraro, the head of business development at PAPSS. And I would want to go through her bio very briefly. She's the head of projects and business development at PAPSS with over 12 years of experience in payment systems. Previously, she worked at the Central Bank of Kenya, leading policy developments for market access and trade facilitation. She played a key role in establishing SWIFT governance, regulating Kenya's national payment systems, and integrating securities into the RTGS system. Monica holds an MSc in Computer Science from University College London and a BSc in Pharmacology from the University of Edinburgh. Ladies and gentlemen, taking us further is Monica Oraro. Please, a round of applause for her as she mounts the stage.
His Excellency, the Prime Minister St. Kitts and Nevis, Dr. Terence Drew, and his wife, honorable ministers, distinguished business leaders, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. It is my profound honor to address this distinguished assembly of leaders from both Africa and the Caribbean on behalf of our CEO, Mr. Mike Ogbalu. Our focus today, scaling cross-border collaborations in fintech and infrastructure, a powerful engine for our shared prosperity. The link between fintech and infrastructure is not merely complementary, it is symbiotic. Robust infrastructure better? The link between infrastructure and fintech is merely not complementary, it is symbiotic. Robust infrastructure, from roads and ports to broadband and energy networks, creates the very foundation upon which fintechs can flourish. Try this. All right, thank you very much. I hope this is better. Okay, if you don't mind, I'll start again. Thank you. His Excellency, the Prime Minister St. Kitts and Nevis, Dr. Terence Drew, and his wife, honorable ministers, distinguished leaders, ladies and gentlemen, a very good morning to you. It is my profound honor to address this distinguished assembly of leaders from both Africa and the Caribbean on behalf of our CEO, Mr. Mike Ogbalu. Our focus today, scaling up cross-border collaborations in fintech and infrastructure, a powerful engine for our shared prosperity. The link between fintech and infrastructure is not merely complementary, symbiotic. Robust infrastructure, from roads and ports to broadband and energy network, creates the very foundation upon which fintechs can flourish. Simultaneously, innovative fintech solutions are essential to mobilize capital, streamline the management, and ensure equitable distribution of benefits from infrastructure development. However, the current reality is one of fragmentation. While individual nations have made strides, our collective progress has been hampered by barriers that impede capital flow, ideas, and innovation across our borders. And these barriers, they range from regulatory divergence And we see both in Africa and in the Caribbean, we have differing legal and regulatory frameworks that cause friction for businesses. There's technology silos, and for us specifically at the Pan-African Payment and Settlement System, we seek to address the silos that are there when it comes to payments across Africa. There are also challenges and barriers of funding gaps, and traditional financing mechanisms often fall short of meeting the significant investment needs of large infrastructural projects. And the last one is information. There's very limited access to reliable data and market intelligence, and that affects the decisions made by both businesses and investors. So in developing this speech, we decided to take an approach where we consider some concrete examples. So we looked at the promise as well as the challenges. And the first one to start off with is mobile interoperability, and we'll give the context also of PAPSS in this example. So the promise here is that in Africa, mobile money has revolutionized financial inclusion. Imagine seamlessly connecting these platforms across Africa and the Caribbean, building on lessons and infrastructures being developed on the African continent. A small business owner in Barbados could receive payments from a customer in Nigeria instantly and affordably. Remittances from the diaspora in the UK or the US can flow directly to families in St. Kitts and Nevis or Ghana, bypassing costly intermediaries. The Pan-African Payment and Settlement System, PAPSS, stands as a prime example of how this could be achieved. PAPSS, developed by the Afrexim Bank, is a game changer for cross-border payments in Africa. It enables instant payments in local currencies between African countries, significantly reducing transaction costs and settlement times, and this minimizes the need for costly correspondent bank relationships and reliance on third-party currencies. Today, PAPSS network expands across West, East, South, and North of Africa, with 15 central banks in its network, 150 commercial banks, and 14 switches. It has also created interoperability with mobile wallets and fintechs. In 2023, the Caribbean Community Central Bank governors decided to adopt a core proposal to leverage Afreximbank's robust experience. In 2023, the Caribbean Community Central Bank governors decided to adopt a core proposal to leverage Afreximbank's robust experience in designing and implementing the Pan-African Payment and Settlement System to establish a CARICOM Payment and Settlement System, dubbed CAPSS. The main goal of CAPSS would be to facilitate trade and transfers within the CARICOM region without dependence on international correspondent banks, and at a later stage with Africa through PAPSS and the CARICOM. Last month, a CAPSS proof of concept was successfully conducted between the central banks of Barbados and Bahamas, and this is a significant step towards creating a truly global Southern payment network. The second key challenge that we identified was that of digital identity and trade facilitation. Here, the promise is a truly trusted, interoperable digital identity system, which could dramatically reduce the cost and complexities of cross-border trade. Imagine a scenario where custom procedures are streamlined, where businesses can verify the credentials of their trading partners instantly, and where access to trade finance is facilitated by secure digital records. The challenge is that developing and implementing such a system requires collaboration on data privacy, security standards, legal frameworks for digital identification. And we must also ensure these systems are inclusive and accessible to all segments of our population. And the third barrier we identified were regional infrastructure projects. And here the promise is to consider the transformative potential of joint infrastructure projects. A subsea fiber optic cable connecting West Africa to the Caribbean could dramatically reduce internet costs and boost digital connectivity, enabling the growth of fintechs and other sectors. A regional development bank could mobilize the funds for large-scale transportation or energy projects that can benefit multiple nations. And this is the challenge here. These projects require significant upfront investment, complex negotiations, and long-term commitments from multiple stakeholders. And we need innovative financing mechanisms, strong governance structures, and a shared vision for regional development. The question to answer is, how do we move then from the potential to the reality? And we identified a three-pronged strategy. The first part of that strategy would be policy harmonization, with governments taking the lead to create a supportive regulatory environment. This can be achieved by bringing together policymakers to align on regulations on fintech, data protection, and security, creating safe spaces for fintech innovation with clear rules for cross-border testing, through promoting regulatory sandboxes, and also facilitating data sharing agreements and developing protocols for secure and responsible exchange of data to support trade and financial services. The second part of this strategy would be strategic investment. And in this case, there would be need to mobilize private and public capital for transformative infrastructure projects. And these can range from pooling resources to finance large-scale projects, leveraging blended finance by combining public and philanthropic funds to de-risk investment and attract public sector participation, and promoting public-private partnerships. And the third aspect of this strategy would be fostering innovation and capacity building. And this is through establishing regional fintech hubs, promoting knowledge exchange on best practice through forums such as this, and investing in education and training. We believe collectively the benefits of putting all this together and scaling up cross-border collaboration in fintech and infrastructure are clear. We would have accelerated economic growth due to removing barriers for trade and investment and creating new opportunities for businesses. We would increase financial inclusion by taking fintech solutions to the underserved and empowering individuals and communities. We would enhance resilience by diversifying our economies and strengthening our regional ties, making us more resilient to external shocks. And most importantly, we would deepen regional integration. Distinguished delegates, this is a great opportunity to move beyond the constraints of the past and embrace a future of collaboration and shared prosperity. We anticipate, with unwavering focus, the full realization of financial market infrastructures such as CAPS and their interlinkage with PAPSS is the key to unlocking a truly interconnected African and Caribbean financial ecosystem, and we are ready for the transformative power it will unleash. Thank you very much.